Welcome to Weekly Recharge, your weekly injection of pure video game goodness. I am your co-host, Devin Moon, and with me as always, my Huckleberry, Trevor Payne. Trev, how
Dude,
you doing?
Huckleberry, Huck Finn, brother. I love that. That's my new
Dude,
nickname. Trevor Huckleberry, Hucklebee.
Trevor Hucklebee, always and forever my Huckleberry, and I mean it, truly. We are the host of this wonderful show. This is our first episode. Hey, everyone, thanks for coming. Let's talk about PlayStation. Let's talk about Xbox. Let's talk about PC. That's what we do here. All video game stuff except for Nintendo, because you can find us on the Nintendo show for that. Trev, let's get in our main topic this week. Let's talk about the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. Specifically, does the PlayStation 5 have the best launch lineup ever? And does the Series X have the worst? Well, let's get into it. Trev, what do you say? Let's run right into that PlayStation 5.
Let's do it, dude. Let's take a look, cause man, there's some hitters. There's some big dogs in that launch
Yeah,
lineup. You
dude.
know what I mean?
There's some big beasts. Let's go to Metacritic to give us
Let's do
the
it.
goods. Number one on the Metacritic so far, Demon Souls with a 91. No surprise there. Also have Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales with an 85 Metacritic score. After that, Astro's Playroom for 83. The Pathless with an 80. Sackboy's Big Adventure with another 80. Bug Snacks with a 74. And Godfall with a 62. Trev, what are we thinking of this lineup, dude? How is we've been through some things. You and I, we're old, we're ancient, we got the gray beards. At least one of us does. Mine has one.
You
Okay.
got one.
You can't
You
see it,
lucky dog.
but it's there. It's
It's
somewhere.
hidden. Yeah, we've seen some things. We've seen some launches. We've been through a number of console launches. You and I, Devi.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
but I think this one, like Sony really did a great job prepping this console with a rock solid lineup as far as games, because not only are they launching with a bunch of exclusives, but then also like a great variety of types of game genres and things like that. So there's almost like something for everybody here, which is super cool. Some of these have launched on other systems as well, like PS4 or on PC and things
PS4.
like that. So not 100% full exclusive, but
Yeah.
it's solid, Dev. I mean, like, what do you think? Have you had any
Dude,
experience? Like, what are you hearing out there?
well, I'm trying to think what is better as far okay, listen, we can say Nintendo has better launch games. I would say Zelda has come in hitting hard, right? We
Oh,
got
totally.
Breath of the Wild was a super heavy hitter, and we definitely had for the the Wii, we had Twilight Princess. And yes, those are big games, and I do think better definitely probably better games than the ones here. Demon Souls is really good, but I don't think it's on that Zelda level quite. Depending on who you talk to, I guess. But still, that's a remake, not a completely new game. I know they really refreshed it, and they've definitely improved it in a lot of ways. And dude, looking at that game, some of the updates they did are almost entirely different looking settings. There are
Oh
like things
yeah.
that I'm like, that's not even like the same looking like world map. I mean, it has like the same like
Like
uh
physical structure, but
physical structures, yeah, but like you're like, oh, there's a world around me, or there's it's not even it's a totally different building. It's really impressive, but it is a remake, so we give that's an issue there. And then we got Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is a PlayStation 4 game, still on PS5, still plays better on PS5, looks better, whatever. But so then that leaves us with Astro's Playroom, which, to be fair, similar to the Wii, is a pack-in game,
it's one of those
or
packies.
or the Wii U, with Nintendo for what is it, Trev? Nintendo World or whatever,
Nintendo Land.
Nintendo Land. People love that shiz, huh? Why
Yeah,
do people like that
people
game so
were
much?
into that.
Yeah, I
There's
hated that.
moments that I had with it. Uh,
I didn't like it as much as everyone else.
I think it's a pretty cool pack-in though. Like a great way
Yeah,
to show off like the new tech, the new capabilities of that new controller, that dual sense. So that was, I
yeah,
think, a really cool idea. And the fact that like, hey, it's a game. It's not long. It only takes a couple hours to beat, but you have a game that comes with the console. That's, I think, a great idea. I think it's awesome.
well, and from what I hear, game of the like some people think it could be like game
Oh,
of the year talks. So that's pretty crazy to me
What, for
as a
the
packing
category
game.
of the best game that shows off things that you can do with a controller? Like
Yeah,
I've watched gameplay of this and it seems pretty basic, but it
that's
seems
what I
really
thought.
really charming
Yeah.
though. Like it tells the story of like, like, hey, this is your PS3, this is your and showing like a bunch of cool little collectibles that reminisce consoles of years past. So
Yeah.
I think it looks charming. It doesn't look like it's like this like epic cool platformer, but it's cool it's there. I think it's awesome that it's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool it's there, and I think it's better than it has to be for a
Oh
packing
yeah,
game for sure.
totally.
Uh, Pathless, this game doesn't impress me, but it's impressed a lot of people. It's hanging at an 80. For me, this I thought it would look like a 60, but whatever. I mean, it looks like Zelda, like open world, but
Yeah.
it kind of like you play the way you want. It's mostly about like the motion of the game and the weird like using the arrows to forward motion. It looks okay to me. I'm not like super impressed. Sackboy's Big Adventure, the new 3D adventure, also hanging at 80. The thing here that I would say when I'm looking at this lineup is that if I was going to compare this with the old last, let's just say PS4 and Xbox One, Xbox, all those games were probably what like highest was a 70,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Like if I was going to give it a Metacritic score, that would be the highest. It would not even be close to the 90s. So when I'm looking at it as a whole, we might be seeing something that's definitely close to like one of the best lineups ever. I mean, you have games that are already hitting nines right out the
Yeah.
gate. Like
That's
that
cool.
never happens.
That
Yeah,
you're
and that
so
never
right.
happens.
That well,
Yeah.
and Devin, you forgot to mention like it has. All right, I think this is kind of like the killer thing for this launch lineup is Bug Snacks. It has Bug
Oh,
Snacks,
sorry.
Devin.
I'm sorry. I forgot about that. Yeah.
It has Bug Snacks with that dope catchy theme song, Bug Snacks. Anyways, it has the
Bug
Bug
Snacks.
Snacks, Dev. Of course this
Yeah,
is the
Bug
best.
Snacks.
I mean
Yeah, I
like
forgot.
next topic, dude. Like
The 10 out of 10 bug snacks.
dude, I'm actually really excited.
Everyone,
I'm gonna play that on PC. That game looks
yeah.
pretty dope, actually. So I will return and let you guys know,
Yeah,
man.
dude. Let us know because I want to be proven wrong on that. But it's very hey, if you're into Pokemon Snap, apparently that's for you. If you love a Pokemon that's shaped like a burger or a fry or a toast, it's all
Yeah,
up to you.
there's
If you get
one. So
those.
they say their name like Pokemon, and
Yeah.
there's this one named Bunger, and it runs around to like Bunger, Bunger, Bunger. Like,
Uh,
it's,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
this game looks
Solid.
awesome. I'm on
Ooh,
board.
can't wait.
Game of the year.
Oh man. And then you got Godfall. So this is my thing. Godfall reminds me of Xbox One's like one of its more impressive games at the time, which was the Rome
Rise,
Son of Rome,
Rise,
Rise.
Son of Rome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was a solid 6, and that's what we're used to with all these launch games. It's supposed to be 6s all around.
Yep.
So I'm impressed. I'm impressed with what we see here. The other question was Xbox. What is Series X doing? How is that guy looking? Let's pull up the Metacritic and check it out. We got Tetris Effect Connected, running at an 88, solid,
Well
solid,
deserved. It's amazing.
well deserved. You got Yakuza Like a Dragon, running at 84 Metacritic. Gears Tactics 79 on your Metacritic. Boo boo boo. And the rest of these are on the Xbox, but I do you know if these games are like PlayStation games? Observer, System Redux, never heard of it.
No
The
idea.
Falconeer, never heard of it. And Bright Memory, never heard of it.
Yeah, so Bright Memory is actually a one-man studio, and this game is beautiful. It looks incredible, but it's like a 20-minute short little experience of what the potential game down the road might be. And
Okay.
it looks really cool. I think the fact that one dude made it, or dudette, is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say this would be like a killer launch game or anything. But I think overall, I mean, like, most of these games, Dev, have either been out on other platforms, like Gears Tactics has been on PC already.
Yep.
But I mean, at least exclusive on console, like, that's
Yeah.
cool. And it is a solid game. It's good. And Tetris Effect has been on a plethora of other systems,
Well,
but this is connected, Dev. This is a
that's connected.
multiplayer.
It's
This is the
connected.
first version of Effect that has this really cool, and I've been playing it, like where three different players all merge together at certain points in the song, and you are working together in a team, and all your boards kind of connect together, and
Yeah.
it's a really cool gameplay moment. And so I really think that is solid, and it is exclusive to Xbox. But I mean, like, come on, let's be honest. This isn't close to the launch lineup of the PS5.
It really isn't. And if I was, this may be one of the worst that I've seen. Now, I understand Xbox has some other game to play. We got Game Pass, which gives you all these games. There's reasons to buy an
Yeah.
Xbox Series X. I'm not saying that this console sucks in any way. I'm very excited to get my hands on one. It's just it's not impressive as far as launch lineup for them is just not impressive at all. You got
Yeah.
Yakuza Like a Dragon, which will be on the PlayStation soon. You have Tetris Effect, which, funnily enough, yes, there's multiplayer, but that was a PlayStation 4 exclusive
For a
forever
while,
now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, forever now. And the rest is like you're just chilling with the third parties. Do they look better probably on your PlayStation or your Xbox Series X? Yeah, probably. But not much. So when you're looking at this, like if you've never been on Xbox, this is great. Like you're jumping in, you're getting into a whole cool ecosystem. But if you've been on Xbox and you've felt, been through each console generation like you have, Trev,
Yep.
how are you feeling, dude?
So
Like,
yeah,
how are
I
you
mean,
feeling?
I went with the Series X as my launch console. And I think I have personal factors that run into this. Like my kids prefer playing on Xbox, and we're going that direction with Game Pass. It makes it cheaper for us as a family with 4 different consoles to buy games for, and Xbox Live and all this stuff. So that's the reason for that. Honestly, I would probably, if I were to pick one at launch, it would have been the PS5, just because there are games to play for this new system. I am loving the Series X, but I'm loving it because it makes games that are already out load so much quicker, look better, and I think it's just an overall better experience. So I've been having so much fun going into my back catalog and playing a lot of these games that came out 2, 3, 4 years ago, and really diving in and enjoying it. And that has been a blast for me. But I could see someone that's played a lot of those games have been like, yeah, there's really no point or reason unless you just want that quality of life boost of being able to load up quicker and run things at a higher frame rate. So I don't know. I love it. I'm excited. I think this launch lineup, Devin, is severely lacking, and it has the obvious just hole. Like a hole was cut out of this, and it's that Halo.
Yes.
It's that Halo.
That big ring.
Yeah, that should have been here, and that's what they were planning on, because I really think this would be a different story if a quality Halo game launched, because maybe that might have been one of the best games this year. We don't know. I mean, like, who knows? But it is possible, and so I think it is sorely missing. When you open the box, dude, on the back of the Series X box is a big Halo Master Chief dude hanging out there, and so it seems weird. It does seem weird as far as like the titles that they chose to launch with, and the fact that there's not much. But there's a lot to play.
Yeah, they were banking, dude. You could tell that they were banking on Halo.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it wasn't the quality game. Obviously, they didn't think it was the quality game that we were expecting. Like for me, I wanted that game to be Halo 1 good. Like I wanted to be like, this is why you buy an Xbox.
Oh yeah.
And maybe it wasn't that. And obviously they didn't think that. So sadly, here we are. We're in a weird spot where PlayStation 5 is just killing it with, honestly, as far as lineup, again, probably the best lineup. I wouldn't say individual games, but best lineup. Because you can't compete with Halo. You can't. There's so many different great games that just blew,
like singular Mario 64.
Yes, Mario, Mario 64. There are singular games that just blew off the doors, just wrecked shop. And I think Nintendo could really compete. I honestly like Wii Sports was no like
no slouch, man.
No slouch, dude. That game alone sold a lot of people on that freaking console, And I guarantee you Astro Boy ain't doing that. Astro Boy ain't playing with the Wii Sports. So I do appreciate the sentiment. I do think it is possible that this is one of the best lineups. But the individual games, there's some issue there,
Yep.
and Xbox really needs to get their shit together. I think they will. I'm not worried for their future. I'm worried for the next couple years, but I'm not worried for their future.
Yeah.
After that point, for sure. Trev, we got a question. Let's get into our
Mm.
weekly question. Mad Lad asks, "Where is the love for Half-Life Alyx when it comes to Game of the Year presented by the Game Awards? What other games would you consider Game of the Year potential?" So, Game Awards gave their nominees. The nominees are as follows. We have Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing's New Horizon, and The Last of Us Part 2. There's a big, nasty, gaping hole there, in my opinion. And probably a couple others, Trev. First off, this guy, he wants to know about Half-Life Alyx. Half-Life Alyx right now, if you want to know, on Metacritic, it is 93. It is hanging there with the number 4 spot behind Hades and behind Last of Us Part 2 and Persona 5 Royale, which, what the frick are you doing here?
Yeah.
You know, I understand you've been in 2020, but you get out. You're a great game, but you get out. So
Goodbye.
Half-Life Alyx, dude, have you played it? Do
Yes.
you feel do you feel like it deserves to be in the talks of Game of the Year with these other guys?
Man, I have like, so I don't know, like, so you and I have both played this. Like we both,
Yeah.
plugged in our Oculus Quests, hooked
Yep.
in, jacked into the Matrix, enjoyed that experience, and it really is cool. Like I remember, I can still remember, my first experience with that game, and getting lost just looking around the world and feeling just this overwhelming immersion and things like that, and that just comes with VR, which is so cool. And that game is really fun. It's creative, and I enjoyed my time with that. So I really think it should be on this list. I think it's weird that it was left out. Maybe it was left out because it's not as accessible to just the general public, because not everybody has a VR headset. It's more of a niche thing, and very specific to a different, like a specific crowd of people,
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's the reason, because maybe it doesn't have that wide spread appeal. But the thing is, that shouldn't matter. It's a video game, right?
Yeah.
And this is a video game award.
Exactly. And the other thing that I saw from Easy Allies podcast recently is that they mentioned that they were nominated for another award within the same Game Awards thing. So why weren't they not they were nominated for that award but not for Game of the Year?
Oh, weird.
It's just,
okay.
yeah, it's like weird that they've just, so at that point, to me, it seems like they're snubbing them for Game of the Year, because if they're going to allow them to be, so at that point, it's not about how many people played it. It's about people just not, or
They didn't get enough money. They didn't get enough money from Valve, dude. Valve didn't pay.
Come on, Keeley.
Keeley didn't get his cut.
Keeley didn't get his cut. No, I think you could be right, because it is that way. I think all these outlets come to the Game Awards and they choose what the games should be or nominated should be.
Right.
But I do, this game, it deserves. I mean, out of all of those games that I just saw, it could take over, I think, at least Ghost of Tsushima. I think Doom Eternal easily. I don't think Doom Eternal is better than Doom, the first Doom. So I think that could be replaced. I think Ori Will of the Wisps could definitely be in the running also for Game of the Year, personally.
Yes. Yeah.
Microsoft's Flight Simulator.
Yeah, dude.
Like, I know that's a joke, kind of, but not really.
That thing's
game's legit.
Incredible. Like, first of all, you have to have like a beast of a machine to run it, but it is good.
Visually stunning. Like, if that doesn't even win, like in the art category, if it's even nominated, that's a question. Like, so for me, I don't know, man. There's a couple here missing. Half-Life Alyx is one of them. And for me, dude, Half-Life Alyx, dude, I've played a lot of VR games and they are immersive, but you still kind of know, I don't know, you kind of know it's like, or it's kind of arcadey. Does that make sense? Like, it doesn't feel lived in.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like, it feels like it's made for you, while Half-Life Alyx feels like you're in the world. Like you've been placed into shoes, while the other ones feel like arcadey, like you're even Boneworks. Like, all these games just feel like not like, they're a game. While Half-Life Alyx, you were living Half-Life. You were in Half-Life. And that experience is just, it's outstanding. Like if you love Half-Life, it is. I think in some ways it's better than Half-Life 2. But it's different. It's definitely different, and I fumble my gun all the time because I'm a
Oh yeah.
spaz
But
and
that
freaking
is
me
like
out.
something cool, very unique to
Yeah,
VR that like it is very involved. Like there's moments I'm like I gotta get out of this because like this has been too intense. I need a break,
yeah.
you know. But like it is solid. It is sad that it's not on that list. I think a lot of outlets might include it possibly. Like I'm hoping anyways
I
because it'd
hope
be weird
so.
to kind of
Yeah.
give that the short shift, but like I think it's a solid game, solid contender. Weird that it's not on this list. But Devin, if we were to let's say just eliminate Half-Life Alyx, never came out.
Never came out.
What from this list that they presented? What would be one of your top?
For me, I think I'm gonna, man, I don't know. For me, it's Hades.
Okay,
I think Hades is going to be one of my top games this year. I really need to get into a couple of these others. I want to play Final Fantasy VII Remake and Ghost of Tsushima. Just kind of lost my PlayStation 4 currently. But as far as like the other games, yeah, man, I don't know. Hades is the main one. Animal Crossing, I think, has a real win. I think it has a possibility to win. I think it might. But Hades for me has been the game of the year, actually, which is
cool.
crazy. I would never think that game would be anywhere near my thought of like, yeah, this is the best of 2020. But what about you, Trev? What's the one that's like hanging in your mind, man?
So there's two, and I think we're kind of on the same page here. Hades was one of my favorite games this year. It was
Nice.
something about the run base. You know, I'm gonna do a run, get as far as I can, and then when I die, I'm not sad that I died. I'm not upset that I have to restart. I'm stoked. I'm stoked I died. I can go back. I can go back
Exactly.
and experience more story and more like in between type stuff. And that game was just, it was magical. The gameplay is so rock solid. They
Yeah.
really nailed it. So I think that game is just magical. So that might be there. But the other one that I think is a contender, at least for me, is Final Fantasy VII, the remake. I never, we've talked on other podcasts that I don't really like that original Final Fantasy VII. I've
Yeah.
played it not all the way through, and I never can get through because I kind of get bored. I don't like the aesthetic as much, but there's something
Yeah.
about this remake that I have just loved. I recently just finished it, and I have had a blast. I am a Final Fantasy VII fan now. Like it turned
That's
someone that
awesome, dude.
really disliked it and was upset that they went away from the more fantasy style game aesthetic to this kind of steampunkiness. And
Yeah.
but this remake, they did such a good job. Like it is beautiful, it plays well. The story just really pulled me in. I thought it was really great, so that might be up there as well. So it'd probably be one of those two.
Yeah. Overall, Trev, 2020. What are you thinking, man?
Man,
All
there's
those games, you look at them, do you think, yeah, okay year, or I liked it?
man, I'm trying to like think 2020 and only video games, not everything else going on.
Yeah.
But I think it's a solid year. There's been some really great games that I've played. I don't know if I would say it's one of the best years. I think that there were some solid
Uh,
games, but I think that there definitely were some way better years that had just really high end, high caliber games coming out. But I don't know. What do you think,
yeah.
dude?
Well, I guess we'll see with Cyberpunk ending it. So
Oh,
we'll
I
see
totally
how it
forgot about
goes, right?
Cyberpunk. You're right.
That's the weird thing with Game Awards. That's the weird thing with
Oh,
Game
that's right.
Awards.
It's gonna have to be considered for next year,
It's gonna be
huh?
skipped. Yep, it's gonna be
Mm,
skipped. That's funny.
all them
So
delays.
those
Oh my
delays,
gosh, you
guys.
guys.
You could have had gold. You could have had it in your hand.
Could have
Keely
been
would
a
have been there.
contender.
Could have been a contender. Well, not today. Uh, guys, that's it for the show. Thanks for listening, watching. Weekly recharge has been a lot of fun. We are a weekly podcast and show. We do this all the time. It's fun. It's enjoyable. We love it. If you liked what you saw here, be sure to check out our other show, which is the Nintendo Show. Quite literally, that's what it's called. You can check that out on YouTube as well. And until next time, have an amazing week. We will see you later. Bye.